Coming up on today's Next Fan Up podcast, Adam Gase tells us what he was really thinking about when the Jets got their first victory.
I'm sure I was throwing some slight temper tantrums in my head.
Okay, that's not true. But we got all your favorite sounds from Week 15 of the NFL. Here we go.
That's how we start! Yeah, baby!
32 super fans.
Where do the reports come from? Did you get an initial?
One PodVader.
That's football.
Every angle of the NFL covered.
All that kind of stuff, I get it.
This,
no question about it,
is Next Fan Up.
We're going to unleash hell here in December.
Hello and welcome to another exciting NFL Soundoff edition of the Next Fan Up podcast. Hey everybody, it's PodVader here alongside Eagles James. Hello, Eagles James.
The week is over finally. I can look forward to 2 division games and hope and pray. Permutations of madness, Pod.
We'll probably discuss a couple of them. I mean, why not? We'll see. But we have some of your favorite sounds from all your favorite players and coaches from across the league after their games from Week 15 in the NFL. And because it is the Christmas holiday, we come to you slightly early. The Thursday podcast actually moving to Wednesday as well. So you're going to get the full Week 16 preview 1 week early. But I am way ahead of myself. We got players.
You mean 1 day early.
Oh, what did I say? 1 week early? Listen,
you did say 1 week early.
It'd be pretty impressive if I could pull that trick off. But we've got I beat Vegas this week. Take that, Vegas. So again, jumping ahead of myself, we've got lots of great sound. And I will tell you that once again, we did this once earlier this season. We are saving the best sound for last. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride as we get to the end of today's program. Okay, this isn't really breaking news. Well, it kind of is, but we recorded our show mostly yesterday before the Steelers played the Cincinnati Bengals. And I just want to play. This isn't sound from yesterday. It could have been. Who knows? I haven't even bothered checking the post-game press conferences so far. I saw Good Morning Football, and they were doing a whole thing about the TikTok dancing on the logo. I'm not going to go into that. But this is sound from a few years ago. It's in our open. It's Mike Tomlin.
We're going to unleash hell here in December.
Yeah, the problem is Mike Tomlin lies. The Steelers have never unleashed hell in December. Never. I just want to point this out. Every time December comes, the Steelers stink. They do not unleash hell in December. It is a shame. It is a travesty. It changes a lot of the things that we talked about. Well, not really. Kind of changes some things. Now we have more things to look forward to, but we'll talk about those on the Wednesday previews. Yeah, the Wednesday previews. More on that coming up. But we will start first in Seattle, where their defensive back, Jamaal Adams, who was traded this season from the New York Jets, the aforementioned now 1-win New York Jets, to the Seattle Seahawks, and has arrived in the NFL playoffs for his first time. And he was asked about it during the press.
John Bull, do you have a question for Jamaal?
Yeah, Jamaal, first time going to the playoffs. I know you have 2 games left this season.
Hell yeah! That's a hell of a feeling, man. I'm sorry. I'm not used to this, guys. Forgive me. I know you guys are used to, Seattle, always going to the playoffs. I'm not used to this. I'm used to sending my cars home by this time. And, hey, I'm already packing up, learning where I'm going next. Where's the vacation? When am I seeing family? Sorry to cut you off, brother. I'm just excited, man. So God is good.
No problem. No problem.
What was your question, brother? I'm sorry.
I mean, you pretty much answered it. I was going to ask what you thought about getting to the playoffs for the first time.
Yeah, it feels good, man.
Okay. There's a lot to unpack here. Jamaal Adams clearly very excited about arriving to the playoffs for the first time ever.
I couldn't tell. Was he really excited?
First thing I have to bring up is he's obviously a Christian because he's brought up God a number of times in his press conferences. However, he starts by cursing. Hell yeah. That's a hell of a feeling. God is good.
As someone raised Catholic, hell is thrown around a lot. So it's not really cursing.
I'm just saying, I mean, I don't know how God feels about that hell of a feeling.
Look, the existence of God also, assumes the existence of hell.
That is also a different topic for a different podcast. I just wanted to point it out. But the other thing he mentions in here is he has to send his cars back home. First of all, cars plural. Well, if your main residence isn't nearby your work, let's say he has a temporary residence somewhere in the Seattle area because he doesn't plan on living there. He'd say he lives in Florida or California, somewhere nice and warm. Why are you bringing multiple vehicles with you to your temporary residence? Don't you only need one?
I mean, look, for us lay people without 6- and 7-figure salaries, multiple cars is a thing. You got your Monday through Friday car, you got your weekend car, you got your getaway car, your vacation car you use to show off. What's that, 5?
A lot of cars.
It is a lot of cars. And look, he's young, and sometimes, it still happens no matter how much retired players or veterans come to speak to rookies during the symposium. These guys on their rookie contracts, especially those in the first round in the top 10, where the big bucks are for them, they still spend money on cars because as kids, it's, I want that car. So, I mean, yeah, they tend to blow it and buy a couple of cars, 2 or 3, sometimes 4. I mean, some players turn out to be car enthusiasts and start collecting them. So you have, I don't know, mini Jay Leno's running around with like entire garages of like 30 plus cars.
Well, I could only dream of having, a Monday through Friday car or a Monday only car.
Hey,
a different car for the day of the week.
That's still 12 too many, Pod.
I don't even have a place to store them. I mean, it's bad enough. So my wife and I, obviously, we have 2 car. We're a 2-car family. However, my father and my stepmother, who recently passed away, didn't need multiple vehicles. So he actually sent one here for his grandson, who now drives. So my son is lucky enough to have a vehicle. However, it's in my name. It's not in his name. It's not that. It's not that lucky. He's not that
premium's
lucky
about
yet.
to go up, Pod. Teenage drivers.
He's not that lucky yet. In any case, so I do have 3 vehicles, which I think is outrageous, and I barely have room for the 3 vehicles in my driveway, and I have a long driveway, as the broken snowblower reminded me this past weekend. But in any case, cars at a temporary residence. It's a little odd. Anyway, congratulations to Jamaal Adams. I am always happy when a player, especially of that caliber, finally reaches, that next level. And now he'll be in that next level. Can the Seahawks get to the Super Bowl? Can he get that high? Don't know if that's going to happen, but at the very least, he will be.
Hey, the NFC is a mess. Anything is possible.
And he will be in the tournament, and that's really the thing
that matters.
That you have to strive for. All right, let's go back to those aforementioned 1-win New York Jets, and I will steal this line from our own Green Bay Brian. The Jets, they don't win often, but when they do, they set their franchise back by a decade.
Wow.
And the press was not going to let Adam Gase forget that he had one job, and he failed miserably at it.
Adam, a win like this produces a lot of conflicting emotions because there's a large segment of the fan base that wanted you guys to lose out and get the number 1 pick. What do you say to those fans?
Hey, our job's to try to go out and win every week.
No, that is wrong. That was the mistake you made, Adam. Your job may have been that at one point, but the description changed somewhere around 0-5, probably.
Yeah, more like 0-9, 0-10.
Yes, at that particular point, at that particular point in time,
it's no point in winning.
Yeah, you're not supposed to win anymore, and so the fact that you won, you've screwed everything up.
Look, and honestly, we can't really say that the goal was to go out and win every week when, for the first 10, 11 weeks of the season, Greg Williams was the defensive coordinator. He was basically just giving up points like Granny is giving out candy at Halloween.
Yeah. I mean, if you were going to win, you should have won against the Patriots. You had a good chance of winning that game. The Raiders, obviously, you should have won that game.
Denver.
I'm sure there's a couple others that I'm missing in there, but
yeah, the Denver game earlier this year, they should have won.
Oh, yeah. Not a good look. Now, I'm going to make an audible here because James and I actually do share a few notes before the show. I don't know why I didn't do this, but I'm going to play the sound from the coach who knows exactly what his job is at this particular point in time. That's Doug Marrone of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And, well, here.
Hey, Doug, what do you tell your guys after that one?
Okay, first, I'm going to pause it right there. That was the very first question of the press conference. I don't know if the reporter was like, oh, I can't believe I asked that question. That was such a dumb question to ask. Or was saying, man, that was just another lousy game, Doug. I mean, what are we going to do here to finish up this season, Doug? I mean, come on. Yeah, I don't know what the reporter was thinking, but that's sort of the mindset, I suppose, of Jacksonville right now. And this is Doug Marrone's response.
Well, I mean, I can tell you what I told him in the locker room. I told him that, hey, listen, we came out here today, and this team, clearly was the better team today, and a lot of things that, there's some things obviously I thought, we did well, but for the most part, I'm not gonna, point those out. Obviously, we weren't good enough in all these phases. I told the players, talked to them about our schedule next week, talk about our mindset, talking about, playing our last home game and, really trying to, put this game behind us quickly and move forward. And meaning that, we're gonna try to go on to, Chicago. Instead of, this team has been going through a lot. They've been trying hard, and we understand that, and I know they're professional. But hey, can we gather up all of us together? Coaches and players. And, the greatest gift that we can all give to each other is the gift of, winning a football game. That's what I told him afterwards.
Again, Doug, no, that is not the greatest gift. That is the exact opposite of the greatest gift you could give to one another. Right now, you need to lose, and you need to lose hard. Also, he had a little on to Cincinnati in there. Did you hear that? We're going to try and see if we can be on to Chicago.
Oh, gosh. I don't think he wants to be on to Chicago right now with the way they're playing.
No, Chicago's hot right now. It does seem like Nagy's trick of benching Trubisky and starting Foles is going to work out for him.
No. Nagy's trick on Sunday was actually committing to the run game. David Montgomery had pretty much the best game of his career, if not this season, with all the yards he put up on the ground against Minnesota. So, yeah, things looked easy for them yesterday because, commitment to the run and not trying to pass all the time. Your quarterbacks aren't Mahomes. And just because you run Andy Reid's offense doesn't mean you have Andy Reid's quarterback.
So we know Adam Gase is a goner. We know that Doug Marrone is a goner. As a matter of fact,
well, do we know Adam Gase is a goner?
Well, do we know that Doug Marrone is a goner? All these other coaches have already been fired.
Hey, look, but we know Doug Marrone.
These two haven't been. These two haven't been. So
there's a few more firings coming.
I would be more. Let's put it this way: I would be surprised if either of those two coaches remain. How about Matt Nagy? Did Matt Nagy save his job?
Matt Nagy will probably save his job if the Bears somehow squeak into the playoffs. And
if they don't make the playoffs, he's a goner.
I think it. Oh, gosh, okay. So this is going to be a long, drawn out answer, but honestly, they win the last two games the way they won Sunday, by ground and pound and mixing in the pass to balance things out. I think he keeps his job whether they make the playoffs or not. If they lose these last two games because he's hell-bent on, I believe in Mitchell Trubisky, which is probably the dumbest thing anybody in that organization has ever said and still believes in, then yeah, he's out.
I don't think it's that dumb. Mitch Trubisky is showing himself to be a winner.
So you remember early this season when we were trying to figure out what was wrong with the Cleveland Browns, and I said they need to commit to the run and stop putting everything on Baker's shoulders. Stop trying to turn him into Joe Montana or, some pass-happy system, and they just need to run the ball and use play action. And ever since then, they pretty much won every single game except for those 2 games against the better 2 teams in their division, despite their record.
Mm-hmm.
You notice how that's played out, them committing to the run? The Bears have finally learned that lesson, albeit probably 5 weeks too late. No one believes in Mitchell Trubisky.
Bears are on the outside looking in, at this particular moment.
Baker Mayfield's
only one game behind.
Quarterback. Only one game behind, yeah, but, look at the teams in front of them. You got the Rams, the Bucks, and the Cardinals currently. And
we're not going to catch the Rams and the Bucks. The Cardinals are a team they could catch.
Actually, they could catch the Rams or the Bucks because the Rams play the Cardinals this week. And considering the Rams are the 1 and the Jets 1-15, I'm not picking the Rams to win another game this season. You can't lose to the Jets this late in the season and have playoff aspirations. You just can't.
Yeah, that's a tough loss.
That's not a tough loss. That's embarrassing.
Right. That's what I mean. You're right. That's the kind of loss that can ruin your playoff aspirations real quick. That is 100% for sure. All right. There's our losing coaches. Let's go back to the winning because there's a lot of guys that were excited about winning. Let's go to Buffalo. Buffalo, who hasn't been in the playoffs for quite some time, hasn't won the division.
Graduated high school.
Didn't win the division. Well, they were in the playoffs just a few years ago, but they haven't won the division since 1995.
I graduated high school that year.
There are a number of players, as was pointed out during the press conference with Sean McDermott, that weren't even born.
Nope.
At that particular point in time, and now here they are back in the playoffs. There was a lot of excitement. There were a lot of thank yous. There was a lot of things, but Micah Hyde said, "Screw these COVID rules. Get out there and celebrate."
I know that the fans are probably already lining up at the airport to greet you guys when you get back. What's it going to mean for you? I know you talked about earlier not being able to do this in front of the fans, but to see them when you get off the plane, just what do you think it's going to be like?
It's going to be a party. It's going to be a party. Do you think there might be more fans out there tonight than 17, do you think? It might be. Is this going to go out anytime soon? Because I want to challenge Bills Mafia to have more fans tonight than in 2017 when we made it to the playoffs. We can make it happen. I appreciate it. We miss them. Like I said, we wish he could be in the stadium with us, but it'll be a party tonight. That was for them.
The reporter even said he'd help him out.
Look, party responsibly, and in this day and age, please, social distance.
Apparently not in Buffalo. They're going to party it's 1995. I saved that one just for you, my friend.
No.
I saved it just for you.
No.
Come on.
Burn that one.
Come on.
No.
Dad joke Tuesday?
No, absolutely not.
How about Thrive Fantasy Tuesday? What do you think about that?
Hey, go for it.
Listen, Thrive Fantasy, they are their newest partner here, friends of the Next Fan Up podcast, and they want to let you know that the NBA is back in a big way on Thrive Fantasy now until tip-off on 12/22, which, by the way, happens to be probably the day you're listening to this. Take advantage of their largest deposit bonus ever. Use code NEXTFANUP when you sign up and let them know we sent you. You sign up at thrivefantasy.com or on the app, which you can get on either the Apple Store or the Play Store. And you're going to put the code NEXTFANUP, and you can get, listen to this, an instant match up to $500 on your next deposit. Now, you must reach out via the email or DM prior to making the deposit. The match is subject to 4 times rollover, and half of the deposit must be used for NBA contests. So just so you know, there are a couple of rules about this $500 instant match on your deposit, but There's some really cool stuff going on at Thrive Fantasy, so recommend you go check that out. Even if you don't take advantage of their largest deposit bonus ever, they still have $10,000 guaranteed for NBA opening night on Thrive Fantasy. So some good things happening there at thrivefantasy.com. Remember to use the Next Fan Up bonus code so that you can take part in all of the winnings. I just like the fact that I am personally responsible for 50% of your wagering. That's the thing I take away most from that.
Of course it is.
Our next guest, are these guests? I don't know. I don't know if they realize that they're guests of the Next Fan Up podcast.
Yeah, I don't think they know.
But our the next player we're going to hear from is in Miami. Hello, Christian Wilkins. The Miami Dolphins ended the playoff hopes for New England Patriots, but that's not what Christian Wilkins is here to talk about. Oh, no. He's just here to say, well, I'll tell you what he's here to talk about.
Christian, I need to know and get to the root of the Hamilton obsession that you have. And also, are you the reason why they play Hamilton every Friday, or is it every day? Like, what do you have to do to get the Hamilton music played?
Well, like I've talked about it before. I'm just like a big weird dude. I don't know. Like, I just have a lot of, I'm passionate about the things I like. I cling on to things. I like my Hamilton, as you guys know. Yep. Still love my Power Rangers. Like, I'm a very simple guy, you know what I'm saying? And like, I don't know. I just like things, hang on to them, and just, have fun with it. But as far as the Hamilton thing getting played, I mean, Coach Flo's a fan too. Don't let him fool you. He loves Hamilton too. So he kind of likes it. That's kind of been the thing. And we've been rolling with it ever since.
Liking Hamilton, not a problem. I would not classify you as a big weird dude for liking Hamilton. Where I will qualify you as a big weird dude is when you say, I like my Power Rangers too, and you stand up.
Now we have a problem.
But wait, now you stand up and you pull down your pants to show us your Power Rangers underwear, which he was wearing in the press conference. That is where I call you a big weird dude.
Hey, now I got a bone to pick with you, Pod. First of all, liking Power Rangers in this day and age, not a bad thing. I'm not really a bad thing. Look,
it's not that you like Power Rangers. You like Hamilton and the Power Rangers. Those two things. Hey. Okay, let's do a mashup. Let's get Hamilton dressed up as which color Ranger is the lead Ranger at that point.
It's typically red is always the leader in every Power Ranger show.
All right, there you go. Hamilton's the red Power Ranger. All right, let's make it happen.
Yeah, but the red Power Ranger never dies.
That would be problematic because, Aaron Burr, he shot the dude.
Yeah, that damn Aaron Burr. Didn't go to jail for it either.
No. Well, it was a legal duel. It's the way people handled their stuff
back then.
That's how they handled their stuff back in the day.
Look.
We're going to stand back to back and take 10 steps.
Look, I feel like sometimes elections need to be held the same way. It's not a civilized boxing match.
Anyway.
Hamilton, awesome. Power Rangers, still stoked. Power Rangers underwear, I'm not mad at it. I mean, he's what, 25 maybe? 26.
All right. But you don't need to stand up and show it to me. You don't need to pull your pants down and be like, yo, check out my Power Rangers underwear.
Hey, he was being preemptive. I'm pretty sure there's a reporter there that didn't believe him.
I don't know who was going to question Christian Wilkins on his Power Rangers underwear.
You'd be surprised at what some of these reporters have asked over the years.
Fair point. I mean, there's been a number of those questions that we've played this past year.
This season alone, right?
So you got something there. All right, let's get back to football here and take a trip up to Green Bay, Wisconsin, where running back Aaron Jones is excited about this particular time of year.
So dating back to last year, Aaron, 5 of the last 7 December games you have played personally, you're over 100 yards. Do you like this time of the year, Aaron?
I'm a Sagittarius, so I say yes. I love it.
December football is definitely is when it's time to turn it up.
I mean, I want to criticize that question, but it does sound like one of my totally useless stats that I would. Dating back to last year, 7 of your last 8. What are you even talking about? But December is the time to turn it up. This is when the football matters.
Absolutely. I mean, look, if it weren't for the absence of crowds, I feel like a lot of these decisions that have happened so far this month would be different. Then take into account the teams that still play in outdoor stadiums where the weather either has or hasn't changed yet. So, yeah, December's the month where you really got to ratchet it up.
So Green Bay currently has a 1-game lead on both the Saints and the Seahawks for the number 1 spot in the playoffs. Now, they had the number 1 spot.
Tied?
Well, they had the number 1 spot when they were tied previously. So my guess is these last 2 weeks are going to mean a lot to the Packers, Saints, and Seahawks. And honestly, the Rams and Bucks are still in it too because they're 2 games back. So if there's like a 5-way tie, I don't even know if that's possible. Probably not. But I mean,
nah, we're not going to have a 5-way tie. Look, the best we got was last season with a 3-way tie between the Saints, Packers, and Niners last season. Ended up being the Niners and Packers with the byes, and the Saints had to play wild card weekend. We saw how that screwed them up.
Well, I mean,
but we're not going to end up with a 5-way tie.
I mean, the Saints don't look good right now. Quite honestly.
No, they don't. And but they've got a softer schedule than the Packers do. And even if those 2 teams do end up with the same record, remember the Packers beat the Saints earlier this year, so the Saints need the Packers to lose too.
Well, the Packers have the Titans and the Bears. The Saints have the Vikings in
one of those games.
The Saints have the Vikings and the Panthers. The Seahawks have the Rams and 49ers.
Oh, yeah.
So that will end the 5-way tie. The Rams will not.
Oh, yeah.
Either the Rams or the Seahawks will be out of that particular race. And then the Buccaneers with the Lions and the Falcons again. So it could be an interesting first of all, the race for the NFC South not done, and the race for the number 1 spot in the NFC playoffs not done yet.
Well, let's put it this way: the race in the South will probably end on Friday.
Man, you are just so positive about all this, James.
Hey, look, it's December. These teams are who we thought they were at this point. I mean, there's really no wiggle room to postulate or guess if this, then that. I mean, look.
There's still room.
There's still room for the improbable to happen. I mean, hell, the Rams stunk it up yesterday. So, they're not a playoff team that I'm counting on in any way, shape, or form, even if they do get in. I'll be against them the whole way.
I would just like to point out that, especially in the AFC, where the Browns are essentially a lock, they haven't clinched, but they are essentially a lock for the playoffs. They have a -6 point differential still. And the Ravens, who are currently on the outside looking in, have a plus 116 point differential. So you tell me if there's still room to postulate on these teams.
Well, let's put it this way. The Ravens are getting in. I'm just calling that right now. I know they're currently on the outside looking in. They're getting in because remember what I said about the Browns earlier? They may be second place by record in their division. They're still the 3rd best team there. So if I'm a Browns fan, congratulations on the 10 wins. You're not in yet.
Ooh. You sound like a guy who's saying that the Browns aren't going to get in at all.
I'm not saying they're not going to get in. I'm just saying disappointment comes in all forms.
Well, listen, this week they are at the Jets. Now, I know the Jets are feeling their oats right now, but I kind of feel like the backlash they're going to get from the New York area they're going to feel it pretty hardcore this week.
Look, if the Browns play, if they clean things up from what happened on Sunday night and play a similar style against the Jets, they should be just fine.
Right, and then that puts them in the playoffs. 11 wins will put them in. 11 wins puts them in.
Okay.
Yep.
It's also the thing about that last game of the season, and like I said, the Ravens are winning their last 2 games of the season.
Are they, though? Are they really?
Oh, yes, they are.
Hold on,
because the Ravens have the Giants next.
Oh, Giants and Bengals.
Oh, yeah. So the Ravens are winning both of their games. Again, if I'm a Browns fan, I'd be somewhat concerned because every time we get up on the Browns, they let us down.
That's not going to happen this time. It's not going to happen this time.
Also understand that 3 of the 4 losses the Browns have this season, 2 to the Ravens, 1 to the Steelers, and they still have the Steelers at the end of the season who still have a shot at the number 1 seed.
All right.
So tiebreakers, if they end up tied with the Ravens, they could be on the outside looking in. They better start praying for Colt losses because the Dolphins aren't losing.
As I teased at the beginning of the show, we did this once before. I mentioned how in broadcast school they teach you put your best stuff first. But once again, we have saved the best for last. And I did not do this to troll you, Eagles James, because I know the Cardinals did you bad, but DeAndre Hopkins' responses during his press conference were just that good.
Oh, Lord.
And here we go. Here is the awesome that is DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre, the way you were holding it and falling on that touchdown, it looked like you already knew that you had it. At what point in the play did you know?
As soon as it touched, like these fingers, as soon as it touched them.
DeAndre, I was kind of far away, but it looked like after the fumble early, you threw your gloves off. Did you do that? And were they the same gloves that you put back on, or did you get new ones?
No, they were different gloves. Those were too small. They were like 4Xs, and they know I wear 5Xs. So I don't even know why I try to put them on. But I won't wear those gloves anymore.
DeAndre, just curious, which catch do you think was better, yours or Larry's?
Well, shoot, I'm going to have to go Larry, man. That dude like 10 years older than me. I hope I can do that at 30 something.
Hey, DeAndre, that catch between 2 guys in the first half, what'd you see on that play, and would you rate that pretty far up there as far as tough catches?
Yeah, that's definitely that's probably my top 8, maybe 10. I'm going to go 8, though, top 8, because it was on 2 people. It's not every day. You see guys just catching on 2 people. In the NFL, maybe college, high school, but not the NFL. So, yeah, top 8.
Top 8. Not top 10, top 8. Remember, this is the same guy when he caught the Hail Murray. Mentioned like that is the equivalent of dunking on somebody. Listen, I mean, as soon as they touched like these fingers, not just as soon as they touched the fingers, and as soon as they touched like these fingers. My other question is, if you have to make a glove that is 5X, why aren't you just making... I don't understand the concept here. When you get up to 5X, I mean, why aren't you just making your larges bigger? Why aren't you just making each glove bigger at that point? Why are we making 5X? When the world has 5X, I guarantee you his hands aren't 5X, the size of a large man's hands.
I mean, he does have large hands, which you need as a receiver to catch the football, especially if you're going to be doing one-handed catches. But,
I'm sure he does.
Yeah, the gloves, look, the size of the gloves, the 5X, allows a little bit more room for your fingers to move in the glove. All right? You can't have them, like, skin tight to where, your fingers are stiff or barely able to move, or you can't really feel like you're feeling anything. I'm not a receiver. I don't understand this.
See, when I've worn gloves, I've always wanted them to be like super tight, like gloves for playing football, not like snow gloves. So the gloves for playing football, I want them to be super tight so that I do have that like tactile. I can feel everything on my hands. I don't know. I guess that's not the case for DeAndre Hopkins, who needs 5X gloves. They're 4X, no good. 5X, we're talking good. By the way, receivers with large hands. When I had the opportunity to meet Jerry Rice at ESPN for the first time, when you meet him, he's not of very tall stature. He's a very, I don't want to use the word meek. That's not the word, but understated. That's a better way to put it. He's a very understated man. He's not like ginormous. However,
no, he's like 6'2".
However, when you go and you shake that man's hand, I swear to God, his hand and his fingers wrapped around my hand at least 5 times. That's how large his hands are. I was like, holy mackerel, that's a large hand. So, yeah.
Hey, he grew up catching bricks.
He grew up catching something, and he's got the records to show for it.
His dad was a mason worker. He started working on his hands by catching bricks from his dad. His dad would literally throw him bricks to put in a pile.
All right, so just to go and recap here, our playoff picture. These are the teams that are eliminated in the AFC. The Patriots, Broncos, Chargers, Texans, Bengals, Jaguars, and Jets. They're all done. They have no playoff shot mathematically whatsoever. They are playing. They're playing out these last 2 weeks for pride and for draft position only. In the NFC, only 2 teams have been. There are 4 teams that have been eliminated. Those are the Detroit Lions, the San Francisco 49ers, the Falcons, and the Carolina Panthers. Really, the Giants and the Eagles are only alive because of the situation in the NFC least. But the Vikings are also still mathematically alive at 6-8. They obviously would need a lot of help to get into the playoffs at 6-8, as they are literally 2 games behind the Cardinals, who currently have the last playoff spot. There you go. The next 2 weeks are going to be interesting, if only for playoff seeding purposes and for draft purposes. We'll see what if the Jets are going to win any more games. I will tell you right now, Week 17 is a lock. They will, in fact, beat the New England Patriots. And it has nothing to do with talent. It has everything to do with Bill Belichick playing 4D chess and making sure Trevor Lawrence does not end up in the AFC East. It's that simple.
So, let's get this out the way now before our preview show later this week. Stidham or Hoyer, who starts the last 2 games of the season?
Stidham. We don't need to see Hoyer, but we do need to see Stidham.
I mean, do we have to?
Well, no. We're probably going to still see Cam Newton, so it won't matter. The other conspiracy theory. The other conspiracy theory is that because the Patriots signed Cam Newton to such a cheapo depot deal, that is incentive laden, and I don't know how many of the incentives at this particular point in time Cam qualifies for anyway. But there was sort of a handshake agreement at that particular point that he would remain the starter as long as he's healthy for the entire year, because they were paying him so little. That's one conspiracy. It is a conspiracy theory that is out there. And of course, the second one is the one that I'm saying. It's not even a conspiracy. It's just known fact that Belichick plays chess while everyone else plays checkers, and losing to the Jets is better for the Patriots than winning against the Jets. And it's actually one of those times where I'll be very upset if the Patriots come away with a victory in Week 17.
I'll be looking at the injury report this week, because we know the shenanigans the Patriots like to play with it.
Well, apparently Stephon Gilmore doesn't have a major knee injury, but he is not expected to play the remainder of the season.
Yeah, he has a partially torn quad, Pod. He's out for the year. He's having surgery today.
Oh, well, the initial report said that it wasn't a major injury. That initial report was clearly wrong.
NFL Network has already confirmed it on the aftermath. Partially torn quad muscle. He's having surgery today.
All right, excellent. So it was a major injury. Thank goodness, because I would have been really upset.
Well, you're right. It wasn't a major knee injury because, I mean,
well, there you go. Right.
So, I mean, you're right in that regard, but it's still a partially torn quad.
All right. The Patriots are playing the Bills on Monday night. So as my good friend James alluded to, we will be having the preview show one day earlier. So our Thursday previews move to Wednesday this week and next week as well. Give you a heads up on that one already. So be prepared to check out your previews one day earlier. This week we do have Friday football, as there is a game on Thanksgiving, on Christmas Day. Merry Christmas to all of you. And then we have 3 games on Saturday. Now, we'll talk about this more on Wednesday, but 2 of the games are on the NFL Network. The one in the middle is only available on Amazon Prime.
And Fox.
Will it be on Fox? Are you sure about that? I don't think it is.
I think it's a simulcast because Fox's broadcast team is one of their broadcast teams is taking over that game. It's not Troy and Buck.
I will obviously have more information on this as we get closer to Wednesday. My current understanding is that game is only on Amazon Prime.
I mean, if it is, then shame on the league.
Yeah.
I mean, you already got to pay extra for the NFL Network anyway.
Prime Video. That game is only on Prime Video. It is not on any network. So 4:30, if you want to watch the Niners at the Cardinals, which has playoff implications, you will have to watch it on Prime Video.
Or NFL.com. There is a way to do it that way.
Or there's some other ways, which I'm not going to share because I don't want everybody going on there and ruining my experience. So
No. NFL.com works. That's how I watch the Thanksgiving Day games. I wasn't home. I was at my girlfriend's house, and she doesn't have cable. And I figured if I, downloaded the Xfinity app on my PlayStation, I could watch the games. Not so much. Xfinity was like, you're not on your home network. You can't watch these. So I had to pull up NFL.com and watch it that way.
So we'll talk about that on the Wednesday previews this week. We'll also finish up with the full slate of games on Sunday and, of course, the Monday Night Football. And people have asked me, PodVader, why are your preview shows 2 hours long? Well, one, we'd like to give as much information as we can on every single team. We like to give every single team in the NFL an equal amount of love. But two, if it is too long for you, we do put timestamps in our show notes so that you know exactly where to go to listen to your game. Now, no, we don't timestamp every single individual game, but if you know you have a 1:00 game on Sunday, go and check out the 1:00 games. And we do go chronological via the Pigskin Pick'em order. So that's another little trick for you if you're trying to find just your game to listen to. Though, why would you do that? You want to listen to the whole show. So listen to the whole show. But if you are listening after Christmas or after Saturday, then you can skip to the 1:00 games on Sunday or the 4:00 games on Sunday or the Monday Night Football game or the Sunday Night Football game. We also tag that one. So there you go. James, as always, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for jumping on and recording early with me.
Absolutely.
And with that, I give you Kofi Annan. There you have it.
Dear friends and colleagues, saying goodbye is never easy. I believe we can all feel proud of what we have done together. And through it all, you have maintained your professionalism and commitment and remained true to the spirit of the Charter. And that principle.
We go out, we hit people in the mouth.